My wife and I discovered a sinister occult secret hidden in our new Victorian mansion. Don't miss this chilling tale of the evil we unwittingly unleashed inside our own home. Hit that like button and subscribe for more creepy stories. My wife Allison and I were overjoyed when we bought our first house together. It was a beautiful old Victorian mansion built in the late 1800s on a few acres of wooded land. It had tons of character and charm, but soon after moving in, strange occurrences began plaguing the property. It started with muffled noises coming from inside the walls, scraping, scratching, sometimes even whispers and voices murmuring faintly. At first I assumed it was mice in the walls or old pipes rattling, but the sounds were too rhythmic and deliberate. Allison never seemed to hear them at all. I also started feeling watched at odd hours. I'd jerk awake at 3 a.m. and see a fleeting shadow pass by the bedroom door. Or I'd be reading in the study when the hairs on my neck prickled for no apparent reason. None of it scared me at first. I figured it was just the normal sounds and quirks of an old house settling. But one night I was poking around the attic, retrieving some boxes we had yet to unpack. That's when I discovered a small wooden door cleverly camouflaged against the angled wall. I tried the antique iron handle, but it was locked tight. Peering inside the old keyhole, all I could make out was pitch darkness. When I asked Allison about it, she insisted it was just part of the original architecture from when the house was first built. I decided to do some research on my newfound mystery door. At Town Hall, I dug up the house's original blueprints from 1897. Sure enough, they showed no record of any door in the attic. Somehow, it had been added later and deliberately concealed. My curiosity burned. I had to know where it led. Allison refused to participate in what she called a foolish stunt, one that could potentially damage the historical integrity of our new home. But I couldn't let it go. So one night, while Allison was out running errands, I ascended to the attic alone, tools in hand. The door was so seamlessly camouflaged against the angled ceiling that you wouldn't even notice it was there unless you were really looking for it. After carefully removing the antique lock, I squeezed inside with a flashlight. Narrow, creaky wooden steps led down into a small room with a dirt floor. Thick cobwebs covered the splintering stairs and dangled heavily from the ceiling. My flashlight beam illuminated the confined space. There was some old furniture pushed against the earthen walls, a small table, a couple chairs, and an old trunk. But what really caught my eye were the strange markings crudely etched into the very plaster. They were arcane drawings and symbols, unlike anything I had ever seen before. Grotesque humanoid figures contorted in pain, monsters with curling tentacles and dripping fangs, pentagrams, and other disturbing imagery. In the center was a large circular blood-red symbol, surrounded by indecipherable writing. I had no idea what any of it meant, but a profound sense of unease washed over me, chilling me to my core. The temperature suddenly dropped severely, my exhaled breath coming out in puffs of mist that rose ominously in the air. Then I noticed a subtle skittering movement in the corner of the room where my light did not penetrate. The scratching sounds I had heard through the walls now seemed louder, more insistent, as if something was scrambling inside the confined space. I reeled around with the flashlight just in time to see a gnarled, hairy appendage withdraw into a crack in the earthen wall. In my panic, I stumbled backwards up the rickety old stairs, hitting my head hard on the exposed upper floorboards. Blood trickled down my neck as I rushed out and slammed the door tight, hands shaking. I wanted to seal it shut and pretend I had never discovered that sinister place. But some strange compulsion made me peer inside one last time with my flashlight before locking it tight. The dirt floor now appeared completely smooth and undisturbed, as if nothing alive had ever occupied that room. The space was as silent as a tomb. I fastened the antique iron handle tightly before descending from the attic, my mind racing. Over the next few days, I scoured the internet for help deciphering the arcane symbols I had seen etched on those walls. From what I could piece together, they were part of some ancient occult ritual used to summon entities from other realms, often referred to in forbidden lore as the Beyond. Had the previous owners been dabbling with forces they didn't understand, unleashing things into our world? And what had I just unwittingly released from years of imprisonment in that hidden room? The thought chilled me to my core. Ever since that fateful night, an oppressive dark presence has taken hold of the house. Shadowy figures dart at the corner of my vision, vanishing when I turn. Strange whispers and moaning emanate from within the walls at all hours. The scratching behind the plaster grows louder every night. Allison thinks I'm losing my mind, but I know in my gut that something sinister is now haunting us. Just last night I awoke to see that same bizarre ritual symbol from the hidden room etched onto the attic door in what looked disturbingly like blood. There are only two options: burn our new home to the ground and hope whatever evil we've unleashed is destroyed along with it, or find a way to force these entities back to the hellish dimension from whence they came. I decided I had to do something before whatever was here drove me mad. If this had been unleashed through some kind of ritual, perhaps the answer lay in occult practices. I needed to learn more about the arcane symbols I had found. I went to the local university library and dug up old books on the occult. To the librarian's suspicious eyes I lied and said it was research for a history paper. I pored over texts depicting ancient rituals, summonings, bindings, and banishings. There were repeated references to something called a Key of Solomon, an artifact used to control and banish otherworldly beings. And the more I studied the ritual symbol from the hidden room, the more certain I became that it was somehow connected to this key. It seemed our only hope was to find this so-called Key of Solomon, wherever it was hidden. Clearly the previous owners had not destroyed it along with their occult activities, or they would not have needed to seal that evil away behind brick and plaster. Tonight, under the pretense of checking the attic wiring, I will inspect that hidden room again. The key must be concealed there somewhere. With it, I can finally rid our home of this darkness. I pray the rituals I have studied will work, lest the wicked presence within these walls find a way to escape its bonds. For now, all I can do is keep that door sealed and continue my search, before whatever lurks behind the plaster drives me or Allison over the edge of madness. I fear time is running short.